Hello dear students, welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. N. Usharani speaking from Maharajas College of Pharmacy, Vijayanagaram. In my previous video, I have explained the working principles of UV visible spectrophotometer, and I have also explained on how to perform sample analysis by using this UV spectrophotometer. In my today's video, dear students, I would like to explain or give a demonstration on how to perform multi-component analysis by using UV visible spectrophotometer. In our lab, as I have described in my previous video, we are having Agilent Carry 60 UV visible spectrophotometer. So in today's video I am going to explain how to perform multi-component analysis of drugs by using this spectrophotometer. So before going into the methodology, I would like to give a brief introduction, that is like UV spectrophotometry is an absorption spectroscopy. So whatever samples that we want to analyze by using this spectrophotometer must have the capacity to absorb the radiation in the UV range, that is from 200 nanometers to 400 nanometers. All the drugs that are able to absorb the light in that range can be analyzed successfully by using the UV range in this UV visible spectrophotometer. Then as you know, in today's scenario, multi-component therapy and usage of multi-component tablets is highly prevalent in the market. So finding out newer methods to analyze multi-component combinations or multi-component formulations is of high significance today. So today I want to explain a very easy and a reliable simultaneous estimation method by using this UV spectrophotometer. Though there are many types of analytical methods and higher versions of analytical methods like HPLC, IR, GC, etc. In my today's video, I am concentrating on a very simple multi-component analysis by using UV spectrophotometer. There are many methods to analyze multi-component formulations by using UV spectrophotometry, like simultaneous equation methods, calibration curve methods, absorption ratio methods, derivative spectroscopic methods. Out of these, I have found that derivative spectroscopic method is more relevant and reliable. The reason being, the spectral interference is very much minimized in this method, and one component does not interfere with the other component during analysis. These are the reasons why UV derivative spectroscopy has got its importance today. And in the UV derivative spectroscopy also, there are several other methods like the numerical method, graphical method, zero cross technique, etc. So in these methods, out of these three methods, zero cross technique has found some significance. The zero cross technique is of high importance today because of its special features like spectral resolution, spectral variation, and quantitative analysis. Spectral resolution is where this particular method is having the capacity to resolve the overlapping graphs or the overlapping curves or the overlapping spectra. Spectral variation is a feature of this method where this particular procedure is having the ability to distinguish between similar spectra or spectra that are having very less variation. And coming to quantitative analysis, this is one of the important application tool of this procedure where we can analyze multi-component samples, and the advantage in this method is one component does not interfere with the other component during the analysis. This is why this method has come into prominence. And the other feature of this method is, in this particular derivative spectroscopy, we are going to measure the spectrum where the derivative is crossing the zero line. This is a very important feature of this zero cross technique. That is why it is named as zero cross technique, because we are going to measure the spectrum where the derivative is crossing the zero line. So coming into our procedure that we are following or the estimation that we are doing today, the drugs that I have chosen for simultaneous estimation are metoprolol succinate and ramipril. Both the drugs are used to treat heart diseases and reduce hypertension, angina, etc. Both of them have a synergistic effect, so they are available in a combined dosage form in the market. So today I have chosen this multi-component sample to analyze by UV derivative spectroscopic technique by zero cross procedure. So I will first of all give you a brief description on the procedure, then I will be showing you how the derivatization or derivative curves will be obtained in this software. So first of all, what we do is, let me call metoprolol succinate as drug 1 and ramipril as drug 2. So drug 1 and drug 2. We scan both drug 1 and drug 2. I have shown in my previous video how we take the scan. So when we scan drug 1, we get the absorption isotherm of drug 1. When we scan drug 2, we get the absorption isotherm of drug 2. Then there is an overlay option in this system. When we take that overlay option, one curve will be overlapping with the other curve. That is, absorption isotherm of drug 1 will be overlapping with the absorption isotherm of drug 2. And that particular curve is called as the overlay curve. And from the overlay curve, I will be noting down an isobestic point. So let me say what an isobestic point is. Isobestic point is a particular wavelength at which both the drugs are showing same absorbance. So in the graph we can see an intersection point of both the curves where both the drugs will be showing same absorbance. Wavelength at which both the drugs show same absorbance is called as an isobestic point. So from the overlay curve where one absorption isotherm is overlapping with the other absorption isotherm, that particular curve or that particular graph is called as a zero order spectrum. That spectrum is called as zero order spectrum. So this zero order spectrum, from this we will be knowing the isobestic point. Based on that wavelength we will be estimating the samples. And this zero order spectrum will be subjected to first order, second order, third order, fourth order, etc. Zero order spectrum, we will be observing the change of absorbance as a function of wavelength. When we subject this zero order spectrum to derivatization by giving an option in our system, then we get the first order derivatized curve. In the first order derivatized curve, we will be observing rate of change of absorbance with wavelength. Then if we give an option for second order spectrum, then we get a more derivatized spectrum where we will see a dispersed function or the curvature of absorption spectrum with the wavelength. The curvature of absorption spectrum with the wavelength. When we subject it to the third order spectrum or when we subject to third order derivatization, we get a more resolved curve or a more resolved spectrum where we will see the dispersed function of absorption with the wavelength. Then when we subject it to the fourth order spectrum, the spectrum will be exactly like an inverted or an inversion of the second order spectrum, and we get a middle very narrow band, and one component does not interfere with the other component. That can be clearly seen in this fourth order spectrum. So this is how, dear students, the zero order spectrum that we simply got with the two sample scans can be subjected to first order, second order, third order, fourth order, etc. And in these orders, whichever order gives us a clear derivatization and clear narrow peaks, that derivatization we can consider for the analysis of both the drugs or the multi-component sample. Do the multi-component analysis with the derivative spectroscopy. Now I am clicking on setup. Like we have seen in the previous video, we will be setting the wavelength from 400 to 200 nanometers, the mode as absorbance, and then the scan rate at around 100, and then here, because we are doing the derivative spectroscopy, we have to click on the overlay data. We have to click on the overlay data. This is very important option that we have to follow in the derivative spectroscopy, and then I am clicking on OK. So now I have already kept the blank sample or the reference sample in the sample holder. So I am setting to 0 with the blank. So it is already set to 0 now. I am replacing the blank with my first sample, that is ramipril. So now I will click on start. Then on desktop I will be giving the name. And then save and then OK. So drug 1, that is Ramipril, is getting scanned from around 200 to 400 nanometers. So dear students, you can see the graph or absorption isotherm. You can also observe wavelength on x-axis and absorbance on y-axis. This is the absorption isotherm that we are getting for Ramipril. This is the zero order curve. Now I am placing the drug 2, that is metoprolol. I am clicking on OK. So dear students, now you are observing drug 2 absorption isotherm. So now you can see the difference, as this is a overlay curve. Already we got curve 1 for first drug. Now the curve 2 is overlaying with the curve 1. You can observe the intersection points of the absorption isotherm. So this is called as the overlay curve or zero order spectrum. So carefully observe, this particular graph is termed as the zero order spectrum, where absorbance is studied as a function of wavelength. So this is the zero order spectrum that we have got. In the zero order spectrum, we can observe both the curves, one for Ramipril and the other one for metoprolol. The black colored curve is the curve for Ramipril. The red colored curve is the curve for metoprolol. For Ramipril, the lambda max is obtained at around 275.9, and for metoprolol the lambda max is obtained at around 238, and you can see the intersection point here. This is the intersection of both the curves. Let me place the cursor on the intersection point. It is around 267. That is called as the isobestic point. So you can see the three labels. One label, that is 275.9, is the lambda max value of Ramipril. 237.9 nanometers is the lambda max value of metoprolol, and the isobestic point, that is for both the drugs is 267.7 nanometers, where both the drugs are showing same absorbance at this particular wavelength. This is known as the isobestic point. This particular point, that is 267.7 nanometers, is called as the isobestic point for these two drugs, where the absorbance is 0.2038 for both the drugs. Friends, now we are proceeding with derivatizing the obtained zero order spectrum. So dear students, this is the zero order spectrum that we have got for both the drugs, that is for ramipril and metoprolol succinate. Now I am subjecting this zero order spectrum to first, second, third and fourth order derivatization. I am going to the option of maths. In that I am giving the required options, that is focused graph, smooth, apply is equal to. So firstly the graph is smoothened. You can observe the smoothened graph. Observe the smoothened graph, and then I am giving the first derivative option, apply equal to. So you can see here the first derivative curve. You can see both the curves have got more resolved on above the zero line. This is the first derivative curve. Then I am going to the second derivative curve. So dear students, you can observe here, you can see that as we increase the order of derivatization, the overlay curve is getting more resolved. You can see more narrow bands as we increase the order. So now I am going for third derivatization. See, as you increase the derivatization order, the zero order spectrum gets more and more resolved. This is how we derivatize the zero order spectrum to all the derivative orders, first, second, third and fourth. So this is a fourth order spectrum. You can see how well both the absorption isotherms have got resolved, and in this particular order one component analysis does not interfere with the other component. This is the very significant feature of derivative spectroscopy. So I have just saved all the derivatized curves that I have obtained just now in our experiment. So this is the first order derivative curve that I have got. Already I marked certain points. Here you can see 6 wavelengths. 3 wavelengths are for one drug and 3 wavelengths are for the other drug. These points are called as, these wavelength points are called as zero cross points. So zero cross points are those points where one drug crosses the zero line and the other drug has or shows some absorbance at that point. So you can see the zero line here. After we save the curve, we can draw the zero line, and on the zero line we can see which drug is crossing zero, and at that point what is the other drug having the absorbance. So this is the first order derivatization curve, where I can say that the zero cross points are not that clear So I will be going for the next order. I will be showing you the next order curve. So this is the next order curve, that is a second order curve, more resolved than the previous one. So here you can observe more clearly than the previous one. You can observe more clearly than the previous order that at a particular point one drug is crossing 0 and the other drug is showing some absorbance. So this is the third derivatized curve. So you can see here it is more clear than the previous one. You can see the red lines and green lines clearly crossing over the 0 line. Here you have to identify 3 points, that is 3 wavelengths, 3 or more, but 3 is the minimum number of wavelengths that you have to identify for each drug. So 0 cross points for metoprolol are those points where metoprolol crosses 0 and um, ramipril shows some absorbance at that point, and 0 cross points for ramipril are those points where ramipril crosses 0. So see here, ramipril crosses 0 and metoprolol shows some absorbance. So at all these points, if you clearly see, one drug crosses 0 and the other drug shows some absorbance at that same wavelength. These are called the 0 cross points. So in this way, we have to select the 0 cross points for metoprolol succinate. Also, we have to select some 0 cross points for ramipril. The fourth derivative curve. So this is best resolved than all the other derivatized curves. So for this simultaneous estimation, I am selecting this fourth order curve, which is highly resolved and showing the 0 cross points very clearly for metoprolol as well as ramipril. Then I will be telling you now how to go for calculation part. So according to their linearity range, we have to prepare the dilutions. Say for example, from 5 microgram per ml to 50 microgram per ml, we have to prepare dilutions for metoprolol succinate. We have to prepare dilutions for ramipril also. And as I told you, we have selected 3 wavelength points for each drug, which are known as the 0 cross points. At these 3 wavelength points for each drug, we have to see the absorbances by going to simple reads option, as we have seen in the previous video. After we get the absorbances of all these wavelengths, then we have to construct the calibration curves. That is what I am showing you here. One example I am showing you. This is one 0 cross point, that is 221 nanometers. At that 0 cross point, this is the calibration curve that I have got, and here it is clear at around the second 0 cross point. This is the calibration curve, and these are the absorbance readings for all the dilutions that I have got. This is for metoprolol succinate, this is for ramipril. So like that, I have to I have already constructed the calibration curves at 3 wavelengths for metoprolol succinate and 3 0 cross points for ramipril, and these are the 6 calibration curves that I am showing you at different 0 cross points. And in these 6 calibration curves, I will be selecting where I got 0.999 or nearer to 0.999. So see here, I have got for ramipril here as 0.988. The next one is 0.991, which is close to 0.999. So I will be taking this graph or this y equal to mx plus c regression equation for calculating the tablet solution. Similarly, here for the other drug, that is for metoprolol also, here I have got in this at this 0 cross point, that is at 210 0 cross point, I have got y equal to mx plus c equation, as well as the r square value as 0.993. So these two graphs I will be considering for the calculation of the tablet solution, because the regression coefficient is very close to 1 at these 2 points for these 2 drugs. So now what I do is, I will be taking the tablet solution or I will be taking the mixture and I will be running the mixed solution. After I run the mixed solution, I will be getting a curve. In that curve, I will be seeing the absorbances at their particular wavelengths for both the drugs, that is ramipril and metoprolol succinate. After constructing all the calibrations curves, I will be running the tablet solution. I have already run the tablet solution, and this is the particular curve that I got for tablet solution, that is mixture where there is a multi-component, that is metoprolol succinate as well as ramipril. So here in this, as I know the lambda max values for both the drugs, that is 277 nanometers and 238 nanometers. At 277 nanometers, I will be, you can observe here at around 277 nanometers, you can see what is the absorbance. What is the absorbance that I got? That is 0.804, and at around 238 nanometers, which is the lambda max for the other drug, I'll be clicking there and seeing the absorbance that I got, that is 0.5094. So for drug 1, the absorbance is 0.8041 in the tablet solution. For drug 2, the absorbance is 0.5094 in the tablet solution. So what I do now is, as I have already selected the regression equations in my Excel sheet, that is y is equal to mx plus c equations. I have selected one for drug 1 and one for drug 2, where I have got the regression coefficient very close to 1. That is what I have shown you, these two graphs. What I will do is, whatever absorbance that I got there, whatever absorbance I got there for drug 1, I will be substituting in y place here and solve for x. Then I will get the amount of amount of drug that is present in the tablet solution for drug 1. This is for drug 2. Let me say it as for metoprolol. What I will do is, whatever absorbance I got there in my tablet solution for metoprolol, I will substitute here in the y value and I will solve for x, where I will get the amount of metoprolol present in the tablet solution. And then I will calculate it in mg. Let me summarize it in stepwise, because there might be a little confusion, where we have just taken the absorption isotherms of both the drugs, that is metoprolol succinate as well as ramipril. Then we have overlaid both the curves, and after overlaying both the curves, we have gone for a derivatization 1, 2, 3 and 4. In that I have selected derivatization 4, where the graphs have got better resolved. And then I have selected the zero cross points. As I told you, the zero cross points are those where one drug crosses zero and at the same time the other drug has certain absorbance. Those zero cross points I have selected for both the drugs, and at all the zero cross points I have gone for simple reads for all the dilutions of those drugs and constructed the calibration curves. And in that calibration curves, I have selected the calibration curve for both the drugs where I have got regression coefficient very close to 1. Then I have run the tablet solution and then found the absorbances of each drug from the tablet solution curve at their particular lambda max values. Then I have substituted those absorbance values in y equal to mx plus c equation, what I have got in the Excel sheet, and then solved for x value and then calculated correspondingly for both the drugs amount of these drugs present in the tablet solution. So this is how I can calculate the amount of metoprolol and ramipril present in the tablet solution and finally calculate it into mg and compare it with the label claim. I hope, dear students, this video will be useful for you. Please try this method in your labs also. This is a very easy and student friendly method. If you like this video, or if you find this video useful, like, share and subscribe to my channel, and soon I will be back with an analytical instrumentation of another instrument. Thank you.